What is up, everybody, and welcome to another exclusive interview. My name is Scott Mitchell on behalf of TurnbuckleTimes, and today I am here with my guest, somebody who I've had my eyes on for a long time now since he made the jump into the world of professional wrestling. Someone who I think has an absolute world of potential in front of him. He is the man himself. He is one of my personal favorites around today on Beyond Wrestling in the Northeast on Creator Pro. You can see him. Please welcome Casale. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing? Thank you for having me.
I'm doing good, and I appreciate your time, man. The pleasure's all mine. You're somebody who has been just so much fun to watch, so much fun to see grow, more importantly, in this crazy world. And, we'll get into all of that, but I really wanted to start, and I wanted to share your story, and I wanted to start with when and why did you first become a fan of this crazy world growing up?
I from really young age, I really liked professional wrestling. I actually, when I was a kid, like playing t-ball, I Taz was my baseball coach, so I played on the same team as his son, and he told us he was a wrestler, and I had no idea what it was. I think it was like 4 or 3 or 4. So I don't know. Whenever you play t-ball, and then I was like, oh, like I'm gonna go check that out. And then I remember I first turned on a SmackDown and I saw the giant fist and all, like when they used to start the show with all the pyro, and I was like, this is crazy. Like this is one of the coolest things ever. And then from then on, I was just always hooked.
I miss that fist, man. I'll tell you. I mean, I
It was
know they
insane.
changed over the years, and it's a little bit more generic. That was the best, man. That was the best set I've ever seen in wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't think anything has
A,
beaten that for me yet.
a little part of me all the time hopes they'll do like a retro SmackDown one day and then do that stage, even for one event. That would be amazing. I think everyone would love that.
I would absolutely love that. I would hope so. I wonder if it's like because maybe it's like too big for them to move. I mean, but they move everything else. So they could easily just throw that in a truck and just set it up. I mean, I
Yeah.
wish. I know they have it set up in like some sort of museum still. That was such an iconic moment. And iconic stage, I should say. So many iconic moments happened on that stage.
Yeah. No, pretty cool. But yeah, that's
For
how I started watching
sure.
wrestling.
So yeah. Yeah. And did you have any favorites or any inspirations that really got you hooked and you were like, whoa, this is freaking awesome. Like, I want to see more of this.
I was a huge as a kid, I was a huge Batista guy. I kind of like started watching as he's like rise, and then also like John Cena, obviously. Was always into CM Punk as well. Coming up, and also I was also a huge fan of Matt Hardy because I like when he was doing the version one stuff. I was like, this guy's cool. Like even though he was kind of like a heel, I was this guy's sick.
For sure. And, something I love about your character that we see before us today is that MMA background. It's something that you clearly carry with you to this day a lot, and something that was super important to you. It looks like from everything that we've seen on social media as well, on your social media. But tell me a little bit more about your background and how did you manage to combine the two very different but also very similar sports?
Well, I started training for like MMA when I was 5. So I was super into that as well when I was a kid. I had like older like relatives that were really into it, so they kind of like brought me along and showed me that. And from then I always wanted to compete. I first fought when I was 18. Um, as a teenager, like I was trying to compete whenever I could, and I was training as much as I could, trying to learn everything that I could. Unfortunately, throughout the years, I got cursed by not being able to get a lot of fights. I would book a fight and guys would pull out over and over and over, and I got kind of sick of it. And I always wanted to do professional wrestling, but I was gonna always do it after I finished fighting. Like I felt like I was done. And then the frustration from not being able to get fights really got to me. So then one day I was just like, you know what? I had a fight canceled like that day, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go down. I knew Creator Pro was there by my house. I was like, I'm gonna go down there. I'm gonna sign up, and even if I just do it for a few months, whatever. I need a break. And then like the second I stepped into the school and like we did our first few things, I was like, oh crap, I should have been doing this a lot sooner. Like I enjoy this more. Like I feel like I'm better at it. But the guys down there really helped me learn quickly. They really put a lot of time into me quickly, and they also help me understand that like I have a different skill set than other people starting out. So I'm able to use what I did in fighting and things I know to use fighting in my matches because I can just do things that no one else really can. Things that I think are normal that I've been doing since I was 5 that I think is just a normal, like, oh, it's whatever. People aren't used to seeing it. So it helps me kind of stand out and they help me understand, like, show me where to do that in each match and help me stand out and look different. And I feel like that's really helped me rise to the top of everywhere I am.
For sure. And, you kind of answered my next question a little bit there, but I want to ask you again as well. You decided to make that switch from the MMA to the world of professional wrestling. When and why did you decide that this was the path you really wanted to head down in life compared to, I don't like to use it term in you have the scripted stuff. So it's like, when and why did you decide that this was the path you wanted to head down in life and kind of test yourself in this realm?
Yeah. Well, for like years before I ever decided to do wrestling, like I think everyone sees like the Unreal stuff and like all the documentaries and like the backstage stuff. So I was following and listening to like a lot of like the podcasts and the documentaries, and I was like spending time like learning how professional wrestling works. And it was just super interesting to me. And then I just like normally as a MMA fighter, you try to fight like 3-4 times a year. That's perfect. And then I turned pro in 2020, I think, and I fought in 6 years only 3 times. But I kept having a fight booked over and over and over. But the person the week of the fight would just back out of the fight due to whatever it was. And that's extremely frustrating because to prepare for a fight, it takes like 10, 12 weeks of you just killing yourself. So over and over, I kept like getting teased when I'm about to fight, and then I get pulled out. And then to get to the UFC, you need like a certain amount of fights. So I just kept getting older, and then I wasn't getting the experience that I needed to get there. So my interest in fighting was dwindling due to not getting to do it. But then also at the same time, I was getting more interested in professional wrestling. I was always watching it, but then like once they started showing like the behind the scenes and like pulling back the curtain a little bit, I was like, oh, I think I can actually like really do that. And then one day I just kind of snapped. Like I finally thought I was gonna fight. I was supposed to fight on a Friday. The guy pulled out on a Wednesday, and I was like, what am I doing with my life? And then I'm like also more of like a all or nothing kind of guy. Like if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it 110%. I'm gonna do it like completely locked in. I'm not like kind of doing it, and then like also interested in other things. Like no, like whatever I'm doing that thing. So then that moment, I just dropped everything to do with fighting. I spent, oh, for sure we'll get into it. I spent a lot of time coaching a lot of guys. I was just like, hey guys, sorry, I'm doing something else now. And I just went and just started doing wrestling. So hope that answers your question.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, and when you did make the switch to wrestling, obviously we still, to this day in your matches, we still see a lot of that MMA background. Was this something you wanted to be sure to incorporate when you brought Bobby Casale into wrestling, into um, the squared circle as opposed to the real life fights?
Yeah.
And was it like something that you really wanted to make sure people knew about you?
Yeah, I definitely want people to know it about me because again, I feel like it helps me stand out. And I also realized quickly that I can do a lot of things that a lot of other people can't, and I can do them with a certain impact and intensity. And like when I hit people, it gets a different reaction than when other people hit people. When I put a submission on, or I throw someone, or I hit a takedown, immediately I realize like, oh, like I've been doing this for 22 years. Like I have a different impact than someone that just started wrestling however long ago and is trying to be kind of like extra safe and they're scared to hurt themselves. Like I'm used to going in there and trying to kill the other guy while he's trying to kill me. So I'm going to go in there and do it full force. And I realized right away, if I just treat these matches how I treat my fights, everything will look really good and will stand out a lot. And like I said, I could do all these things that other guys kind of try to do, but don't execute perfectly. So like, I feel like I just hit the nail on the head of like what's really fun to watch. And I also try to like shape what I do around what I think is entertaining and what I enjoy, and that seems to be working out.
For sure. And, we all saw the photo of you're celebrating in the cage with Amanda Nunes and her recent title win, which was super cool. I'm a huge Amanda Nunes fan. She's
Yep.
a killer in
She's awesome.
the octagon. I love her work. But what has it been like for you to just work around all of those UFC stars, as well as carving your own path, like now as well, like trying to be a coach and not trying to, but being a coach, being a mentor to people who are also kind of in a similar boat that you once were?
Yeah. Well, in 2020, I moved down to Florida, and I was able to train at what at the time was one of the best gyms in the country, Sanford MMA, and I got to be around the highest level athletes there, like Kamar Usman, Michael Chandler, like so many countless UFC champions and high level guys. And then at the same time, I started coaching a lot of guys for like wrestling and grappling, and guys in the UFC, like guys coming up, guys lower level UFC and things like that. I got the chance to be a part of a few Michael Chandler camps and kind of like help them out and like be his partner, and like he'd pick my brain a little. Um, and that was awesome because you get to see what mindset you have to have and how deliberate you have to be with every single thing you do in order to be that successful. And I took so much away from all those years every single day, like seeing the amount of effort they have to put in, both like not just in training, it's all day. So I took that right away and was like, soaked that up. And like that changed how I live my life now. And like, there's also many coaches down there now that I looked up to that changed my life too, that gave me life changing advice. And then for Amanda, she had left her team at the time and she was looking to create her own team to help win back the title she lost. And I got referred to her. And then one day she just gave me a call and she was like, "Hey, this is Amanda Nunes. Like, do you want to come help me out for my camp and train me for this fight?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, definitely 100%. Like, that's a no brainer. Like, that's such a great experience." And it was an amazing experience, and she's like a one of a kind person. There's a reason she is where she is. Like the amount of dedication and knowledge that she has, and also like she brought me in kind of just on the recommendation of others, but like completely was there to learn, there to listen to me, there to take in my input and like discuss things. And it was amazing. That also taught me that too. It's like you're always learning, you're always, it's like kind of cliche to say you're always learning, but you are always learning, even at her level, and you're always just kind of open to the opinions of others, even if you don't absolutely agree. But yeah, that was an amazing experience to see a world championship camp and be a part of it and be in charge of large parts of it. Um, and see the amount of dedication that goes into that, man, I take that with me into wrestling. I feel like that's helped me be as successful as I've been in only my first year.
And actually, that gets into my follow up question as well. Two very different worlds, obviously. With that said, was there anything that you were able to learn in your time training in MMA with these MMA greats that you were able to take with you into this new world of professional wrestling?
I would say the two biggest things are paying attention to like every little detail. I think in wrestling, too often guys are too general, and just repetitions. Like on wrestling, I see a lot of guys that do something once or twice and they're like, "Oh, yeah, it's fine." But like, if you can get more repetitions on it, you'll be even better at it. You get better quicker. It just takes more time, and not a lot of people want to put the time. And so those two things kind of go together. But I would say paying attention to detail and like deliberate repetitions are the biggest things that I took away from bringing my time in MMA to wrestling.
For sure, and I have to ask you too, just because it's current events. Did you happen to get a chance to watch the UFC 250 event
I did, I did. That was actually a
at
really
the
good
White
card.
House?
Such a it almost felt like the whole thing was AI. Like when you first turn it
Yeah.
on and you see like the big thing and like the White House is there, you're like, what are we doing? But the event was great. I thought it was great. Like, what do you think of it?
Oh yeah, and I need to ask you too about the main event of that whole card: Justin Gaethje, Ilya Topuria. Amazing, amazing
Insane.
fight. Obviously, we saw Gaethje
Insane.
win, so it wasn't great for Ilya, but it was insane. But what did it mean to you to see Justin pull off that win and get that title back?
I mean, I was just like insanely impressed because you got Taporia, that's a guy that's beat Max Holloway, Alexander Volkanovski, and he knocked them out. And then Holloway knocked out Gaethje. So you're like, all right, like Gaethje hasn't been doing too hot. He like I don't think he can handle taking those shots. But then they came out there with a great game plan. He was jabbing his face off. You saw Taporia's face after. They said I saw today he had two broken orbital bones. So I mean, props to Gaethje for hanging in there. They came out with a good game plan,
Yeah.
and he said, I remember I saw too. Gaethje said there was times where felt like he was going to quit, but then he pushed through. And to make a guy like Taporia too quit on the stool, that's insanely impressive. Props to him. If I were him, I know he was already thinking about retiring. I would just retire right there. Because what do you got to do now? He's just going to lose again,
Yeah.
right? Like that's not saying he's going to lose right away, but the next thing to happen to you is just going to be to lose. So how often can you say like, "Oh, I beat a guy that was undefeated that people are saying is one of the greatest right now, or could eventually be the greatest of all time at the White House"? I would just call it right there. You did it. You won the game.
Oh yeah. I always have a special spot for Taporia because when I first started my journalism career, I covered MMA for fan-sided MMA, and one of my very first fighters to watch in an undercard match or undercard fight, I should say, it was Taporia. And I've
Yeah,
drawn a blank on which one it was, but it was just a regular undercard standard bout.
yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
anything like no title match. No, at that
yeah.
time he wasn't known, and just seeing his growth from that time has been so special because he's a beast.
Dude,
More is there for him to do? Is
he's
he going to go up a weight class? Yeah, like
insane. Crazy Gaethje won. I for sure was counting him out. 6-1 underdog. Crazy.
yeah. Oh yeah, and I had to ask you too. Was there any fight on that card that you thought was like really super underrated that you really enjoyed as well?
Mm, not. I wouldn't say because there was only such a short fight card. There was only like 7 fights. Um, I wouldn't say. I think everything
Yeah.
kind of delivered. I think if there was like a ideal UFC card, it was probably that. Not too many fights. Everything. I think almost every fight was a knockout and super entertaining.
Oh yeah. And obviously, I know some fighters I won't get into that, but some fighters made news after their fights with cutting interesting promos and shit. But you know what?
Mm.
That's what people pay to see. People pay to see these guys get knocked out sometimes. People pay to see these
Yeah,
guys get, like Kobe Covington. I got the chance
yeah,
to work with him once, and he told me that, and I saw that he made that character change because he was about to get cut from the UFC. And
yeah.
he told me that, like, if he didn't figure out something, he was going to be gone. And he became one of the most hated people there. But you know
He
what? It
made,
worked because he
yeah.
was a beast and people paid.
He made people want to see him lose. The same thing with
Yeah.
like Floyd Mayweather. People just want to see him lose. So it's part of it.
Oh, yeah. For sure. And, getting back on track with the professional wrestling aspect of your career, when it came down to choosing where to train, you obviously chose the Creator Pro Wrestling Academy. What drew you to that school, and were there any mentors there who really took you under their wing?
I mean, what drew me there was like the amount of people. Like I was look at like who came from there, right? Like you have so many people that are where I would want to be, that are signed wrestlers that do it for a living and they put on good matches too. So that was a no-brainer picking there. And I would say the people that really helped me out, took me under their wing was Bear Bronson, Max Caster, Aaron Rourke, really put a lot of time into me. Those guys, I'm beyond thankful to them. Even like Bryce Donovan too. He's awesome too. All those guys, I can beyond thankful because they right away saw the amount of dedication that I was willing to put in. And there was days where they would be there with me till like 1, 2 in the morning teaching me stuff, let me ask them questions. And I was coming in every day with my phone notes app with like 20 questions of like, what's this? What's this? How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? And they would take the time to make sure I got it. So, I mean, I wouldn't be where I am without any of those guys. They will watch anything I send them, any of my matches, and give me great feedback, and just beyond thankful to them. Those are my guys.
And I'd be remiss too if I didn't bring up, of course, your time with one of the most underrated talents on the Indies today, who's somebody who I don't think gets enough flowers that he deserves. Obviously, he's doing more acting gigs now, so I don't know if he's starting to slow down on wrestling. I'm not going to speculate. I still love the guy. But Jack Tomlinson in Creator Pro right off the bat, you were practically like his heavy in a way. You stole the show. You stole the spotlight. Not stole the spotlight, but you and him just worked together so well. And it was just so much fun to see. And what was it like for you to just work with him and somebody who's incredibly just underrated in his own right?
He is a great guy. He's a great wrestler. You can see him go in there. He's super entertaining. And his dedication to like acting and character work is something I've never been around, because I've only really been around athletes. So like I didn't really know what to expect, but he actually helped me a lot to like open my eyes up to like the character part of wrestling, seeing how like much thought he puts into like every little thing, and like seeing how sometimes I'll be like trying to pitch him ideas or talk to him about something, and he'll get into that acting mode of, and like even like start like saying things as me, and like it's like so believable because he's such a good actor and so good at like character work, that he'd be like, oh, I would just do that promo like this, and he'll just go and do the promo as me. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do that. Like it's crazy to see. Like, yeah, he's helped me out a lot with like more of the character stuff, and like opening my eyes to like, oh, like I wonder if I can pull some things from that for myself. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, he's awesome. He's the best guy. You'll see him on every Cap show for the rest of eternity.
And, I want to jump right into it too. On Saturday, you will be going one-on-one with one of Beyond Wrestling's best young up-and-comers. Now we're going record on saying that. Blackjack at Beyond Wrestling's big event, RRD Pain Olympics. What is your mindset heading into this one?
Well, like you said, Jack is one of Beyond's big stars, right? And I want to take that from him. I want to be the big star. I don't want, I mean, he can do whatever he wants, but I got to go in there and I got to prove a point. I don't know what wearing eye black is going to do against someone like me that is a trained fighter. We'll find out. I'm excited to go in there and prove myself. He's had a bunch of title opportunities and big matches there that I've yet to have yet. So this is my chance to show I belong, and I'm excited for that. I'm going to go in there and dominate. That's what's going to happen.
And you've got to become a bit of a mainstay at Beyond Wrestling and Wrestling Open. What has it meant for you to just be a part of that promotion and be a part of that locker room?
Man, it means everything. I love Beyond and Wrestling Open. Like Cap and all the trainers and everyone there has helped make me who I am and train me as a wrestler. But I feel like I really am beyond thankful, not to pair the words together, but for the opportunities I've had at Wrestling Open and Beyond. Those guys saw me right away and they took a chance on me. And that's really all my experience there has really helped me grow. They've done nothing but be the most amazing people. The best promotions, giving me great matches and just helping me grow. So beyond thankful for them. Those are my favorite people. I love Wrestling Open. If you don't watch Wrestling Open, I don't know what you're doing. Week to week, the best matches, the best stories. It is my favorite show. Okay. And the Beyond Super shows too. Who doesn't want to see crazy, amazing matches? They put on the best matches there are. So those are my guys. Very grateful to them.
Sure. And, lately I'll be remiss if I didn't bring up, we've seen you as a part of the Stetson Ranch, which is funny because I didn't know how well you guys were going to work together, but I absolutely have been loving all of this. Working alongside Steve Stetson, Danny Miles at time, Wonder Boy Brian Morris as well. But what has it been like to work with them? And two completely different like characters. One is more of a cowboy, one's more of an ass kicker like yourself. But what has it been like just to work with them and kind of pair those two things together?
They needed some legitimacy. They needed some muscle, and I brought it to the table. Those guys are awesome. Again, like Steve, Brian, and Danny, they've been around for a lot longer than me. And on those shows, like they're main event mainstays. You know what I mean? Like they walk out, people are there to see them. So I got put in situations early on where I'm towards the top of the card. So it made me want to be even better. It made me really want to step up. And those guys too, through being in those spots, taught me a lot. Going into matches, they'd be like, "Hey, we have to do this, 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 and this." Going into the match, and I'd be like, "Oh, I never didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know that existed." But they are awesome. They took the time to make sure that I looked good and that I performed. And even when I didn't really know what was going on when I first started out, they always kind of looked out for me and made sure I was good. And even someone like Danny Miles, he's been around forever. He's an amazing guy. And he'll sit there and just talk to me and be like, "Hey, like, you ever think about doing this? You ever think about doing this?" I'd be like, "Oh, no, I didn't know that was a thing." So being able to work with guys that are more veterans and way more experienced than me and be put in those situations with them is amazing. It's great. Those are my guys.
Sure. And, I would be remiss too if I didn't bring up, and I would go on record on saying this: Break the Walls Down earlier this month was one of the biggest and one of the best Beyond Wrestling shows in the promotion's history. And that's saying something because they've had so many amazing wrestling shows in that company.
Yeah.
But Break the Walls Down was just on a whole other level. We got to see you and the Stetson Ranch team up against Aaron Rourke and the Shooter Boys in an unsanctioned fight. This was not just a match, this was a fight, which I loved it. Turned into a war. What was this whole match like for you?
That was my first time doing anything ever with weapons. So going in, I was like, "Oh, I don't know what's gonna happen here," but it was a blast, man. Doing matches like that where you kind of like throw everything out the window and you're like, "Hey, we're just gonna go as hard as we can, and we'll just see what happens." I loved it. It was a blast. I would do something like that again. At first, I was like, "I don't know about this. Maybe just a one and done, or keep that stuff away from me." But it definitely gets a different reaction from the crowd, and you definitely brings out like a different intensity in everyone, but really enjoyable. And to be able to wrestle those guys too was great. That show was amazing.
For sure. And, being on the same card as Andrade versus Bobby Orlando, then you had Blackheart, Leo Rush, who's just
Yeah.
such a captivating performer. Then you have Wheeler Yuta versus DJ Powers, all these big name stars coming back to Beyond Wrestling or debuting at Beyond Wrestling for Andrade. What was that like for you to just be on that same card with them and realize, like, yo, I'm making it. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
doing
yeah.
this shit.
Andrade's the coolest dude, man. The coolest dude. Have you ever seen anyone that cool
Yeah.
ever? The coolest dude. When he showed up
No.
backstage too, when he showed up, I was like, "This guy is it. I see it. Now I see it." And he was the nicest guy. He came up to everyone, introduced himself and stuff. And then the match, him and Bobby Orlando had an amazing match. It was cool to be on a card like that. It does make you feel like, oh, like I think I'm going in the right direction, and seeing those guys there and kind of seeing how they go through their matches and how they prepare for matches is always really cool.
For sure. And in May, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up, I always knew you were super talented. I always knew the potential that you had because I was grateful enough to see your growth since Creator Pro. But finally, the world is starting to know because at the Beyond ID showcase event, you went one-on-one with Timothy Thatcher in a match that was kind of a proving ground match for you against one of the absolute best type of grapplers around today. What did this match and this moment mean to you, despite coming up just short against someone like Thatcher? Just how cool was that moment, and what was it like to work with him?
That was my absolute favorite thing I've ever done. I think in anything competition wise, that was an amazing opportunity that I was going into. I was like, "Oh, I don't know what's going to happen here." And then we went out there and I felt like it was my best performance. I know everyone there loved it. It did a lot for me. Like you said, like kind of showed everyone like, "Hey, I'm here." Like I felt like it was like an arriving moment for me. Like, "Hey, I'm here." And we went out there, we beat the crap out of each other. I thought it was an amazing match. I thought we stole the show in that match, and that felt good. That felt good. That was my favorite match. I wanna wrestle Tim again because I feel like we do even better. But that was an amazing match. After people are saying they never seen someone bring it to him like that, um, I just brought it. I went into that like I was fighting him, and I think it showed. That was really cool experience. Thankful for them putting me in that spot, and I felt like I showed out. And now, as I get put in bigger and bigger spots, I'll continue to show out.
For sure. And, that weekend alone, you had like a collective type of weekend in a way,
Yeah.
which also saw you work with Michael Mastretta and Bobby Orlando.
Yep.
Mindset and heading into a jam-packed weekend, kind of like similar to the collective weekend that we see at WrestleMania. And what was it like around WrestleMania time, I should say? And what was it like just being a part of that weekend, having 3 matches in the span of like 2 days and just putting on your best performances, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, that weekend I wrestled, I think I wrestled every day for like 6 days. Cuz I think I did Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That was cool. I honestly, my goal going into that whole weekend was steal the weekend. I was like, I want to steal this whole weekend. Every show I'm on, I want to have the best match. I want to be the guy that everyone's talking about at the end of the weekend. And I think I did that successfully because on that Monday show, everyone was saying I'm the man of the weekend. Everyone was saying I was the man of the time. That's what I was trying to do. That's what I know I can do. I know that any show you put me on against any person, I'll have the best match. I'll steal the whole show. And that's what I was trying to do. And that's what I did.
For sure, and you absolutely killed it that weekend. We knew how good you were. I always knew how good you were. The fans are finally realizing how good you are. Not looking kind of ahead for you too. You are the current number 1 contender for that Wrestling Open Championship, which is currently held by Bear Bronson. I love seeing you guys work together. I remember seeing you guys in action. I forgot if it was a multi-man match at Creator Pro or if it was a one-on-one, but it was a phenomenal match because you guys are 2 of the hardest hitters out there today. We are now on a collision course to see that again in a Wrestling Open ring or beyond wrestling ring. What is your mindset heading into what is sure to just be another war between you two?
Well, this will be our first singles match. So we've only been in like multi-man, like tag matches. Going into this match, this is where I have to bring like 100% and some, because Bear Bronson right now, he's on the run of his life. He's the past year for him. He's been killing it everywhere. He's been showing up on every show. He's getting signed by TNA. He's winning the Wrestling Open title. And those are things that I want to do. Those are places that I want to be. So for this match, if people are impressed by what they've seen by me so far, this match I have to be like unhinged. I have to step it up 10 levels. And I'm sure Bear's not going to back down too. He's not the type of guy to back down. So for this match, I'm excited for this match because that's where I thrive. I thrive in that chaos and that war. When I start bringing to someone and they step it up a little bit, then I step it up a little bit, and we start bringing the best out of each other. That's where I thrive. That's where I love. That's what gets me going. So I'm excited for this match.
And I'll tell you, this match has all the makings to be a match of the year contender. 2 absolute horses, 2 absolute hard hitters. This is going to be a good one. And I have to ask you too, the fact that he is a mentor to you, does that add anything extra for you? Anything more special for you? Like in the sense of
I would say it definitely adds like 2 things. It's like, oh, it's really cool that one of the guys that trained me from the ground up, I get to wrestle him for a title in a singles match on a big show. But at the same time, too, it also motivates you to be like, hey, I want to show this guy how good I am. I want to prove myself against this guy. I want to show you that now I'm on your level. So that's where I'm at.
for sure. And looking ahead for you, what are your future goals in this world?
In wrestling, I want to be a signed wrestler. I want to be known as one of the best guys. I want to be known on the upper echelon. I want to be in a top company in a top position and be known as the guy. I want to be right there.
For sure. And you've been sharing that ring with so many talented wrestlers as of late, especially as well. Do you have anyone looking ahead that you'd really love to share the ring with too?
I want to wrestle Aaron Work and Max Caster one-on-one. I want to wrestle all my coaches one-on-one, and I especially want to wrestle MJF. Before wrestling, he was a favorite of mine. Now I train where he trains, and I've got to be around him a bunch. And I'm like, oh, I can take this guy. I want this guy in the ring.
I love that. And you know what? I cannot wait. Been absolutely killing it on a whole other level recently. And it's just been so much fun to follow your career since I first saw you in Creator Pro as Jack Tomlinson's heavy. Like, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Thank you.
And I'm proud of you for sure. No problem. And is there any final message that you have to anybody who's watching this and how they can follow your career, support you, buy your merch, or just stick around in any way?
I would follow me on Twitter or Instagram at Bobby Casale. I definitely have some pretty big things coming. Nothing that I can really announce yet, but I would follow me, stay tuned, and I would hop on board while you still can, while it's still early.
For sure. And Bobby, I appreciate your time. You are an absolute treasure. You're somebody who I have a lot of high hopes for in this world. I love everything that you're doing, and you have a bright future. This is just the start of it. So I can't wait to see where you head from here.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me.